maybe can't communicate with you.
Line.
What? How does that make any sense at all? So the reason why we lose our balls when we swallow our grandpa is because when we swallow our grandpa, he poops in...
You would completely lose your balls.
Whoa. What? If you swallow your grandpa at 3...
If this video appears on your
lobotomizes you after watching 3 videos. And then finally, we have people who cut and stitch random Zach D Films videos together to create the weirdest out-of-context memes.
If you swallowed your grandpa at 300 miles per hour, you would completely lose your balls.
Whoa. What? If you swallow your grandpa at 300 miles per hour, how is that going to result in you losing your testicle? How is it physically possible to swallow someone at 300 miles per hour? I'm pretty sure if you do that, your throat just gets completely destroyed, like obliterated.
You would completely lose your balls 1.5 million times. And this happened because your grandpa might start a dookie at 300 miles per hour
in North Carolina.
What? How does that make any sense at all? So the reason why we lose our balls when we swallow our grandpa is because when we swallow our grandpa, he poops inside of us. He does a dookie inside of us, and then that causes us to somehow lose our balls. Actually, no. It's because he starts a death roll, like a crocodile. Actually, no, they didn't even say death roll. They said start a dookie. Bro, what even is this? This makes no sense at all. What the hell did your grandpa do? Yeah, bro, what did your grandpa do to deserve this?
If you encounter a grizzly bear and try to run, they'll grab a gun and shoot it at your balls, and you
will survive, but actually mauled to death, like 100% death.
If you touch your balls at 1.5 million miles per hour, you would completely lose your bloody balls 1.5 million times. And this happened because your poop could theoretically step on a sea urchin over and over again.
Bro, how are you meant to goon at 1.5? Wait, what is it? Is it 300 miles per hour again? Actually, no, it's not even 300 miles per hour. It's 1.5 million miles per hour. How is it humanly possible to goon that quickly? And so I guess this technically is a fact. If you do somehow manage to goon at 1.5 million miles per hour, your balls will probably fall off. But the only reason why this fact exists is not, due to logic, because, like, if you think about it, if you gooned at 1.5 million miles per hour, of course your balls would fall off. But instead, the reason for this is because your poop could theoretically step on a sea urchin over and over again. How does that make any sense?
He was shot in the balls, and this happened because those balls burst, releasing over 300,000 gallons of sperm.
Whoa, what is going on here? What is the obsession with balls? So the reason why the soldier survives a bullet to the brain is because the bullet did not actually hit him in the head, but it hit him in the balls, and all of his homemade special sauce released all over.
If you touch your poop at 300 miles per hour, a grown man would be under your bed at 2 a.m. 40 times.
What? How? What? So the condition is that if you touch your poop at 300 miles per hour, how are you meant to touch? Are you meant to just slam it so hard that it just goes splat everywhere? That's the only way you could touch your poop at 300 miles per hour. Or maybe you have to sort of hit it like a tennis racket, but with your hand instead. So if you do this, a grown man just appears, just spawns underneath your bed. So is this a bad thing? So you should never touch your poo at 300 miles per hour? But what about 299 miles per hour? So we're allowed to touch our poop at 299 miles per hour? So we just slam it so hard that it splats everywhere, but it doesn't splat extremely far. And then what's the grown man gonna do? He's gonna slither out from under the bed like a snake and...
You could go into a coma and die. And this happened because a teenager stood in front of a bathroom mirror, lights off, and chanted the name Cock Balls.
Bro, okay. You gotta chill. You actually gotta chill. You almost had me there. I almost believed this was an educational video, like an educational fact I was about to learn. So basically, if you poop on a polar bear, they will just maul you and just remove your brain. You will become literally lobotomized. And the only reason why polar bears behave this way, the only reason why they target the brain if you accidentally poop on them, is because this kid, back in the day, he went in front of a mirror and he screamed the phrase cock balls, and that was enough to sort of trigger the biology in the polar bear's mind. It sort of affected the entire ecosystem of the world. It affected the animal biology, DNA, all that stuff.
Inside the assassin's balls, there are two chambers, one filled with your poop.
Through chambers, technically out through your neck. You want to combine your poop and your horse poop. Just
And energy. Instead, fart. The polar bear. If you can't find one, go vomit from the fridge 1,000 times. And this is because you're a splinter. You could go into a terrible diarrhea and whistle and finished with a perfectly timed fart.
bro, what? What is even going on? So if you accidentally swallow a cactus, then your grandpa will die. And apparently most people's first thought is to sell your grandpa's body parts online. But instead, to revive your grandpa, you have to wait. What do you have to do? You have to fart onto a polar bear. So that is the only magic spell that will bring your grandpa back to life. I don't think this guy understands how dangerous polar bears are. Like if you're in a position where you can fart on a polar bear, I'm pretty sure you're dead. I don't think you're gonna survive that. And so the alternative is to just vomit into a fridge 1,000 times and just do an explosive diarrhea onto the ground, and that's enough to bring your grandpa back to life. I mean, what if someone follows these instructions? Like, what if someone's grandpa dies and they, just follow all of these instructions, hoping to revive them? I bet some random 9-year-old kid will try to do this, and they'll just do. First of all, is it even possible for a baby to, understand their
Don't go to the doctor. When you eat a gay baby, most people will immediately begin to drill a hole in your balls. But this can be dangerous. Instead, don't go to the doctor.
What do you mean by that? Wait, when you eat a gay baby, most people drill a hole into their balls? First of all, is it even possible for a baby to, understand their, preferences at that young of an age, before they can even talk? How do you know whether the baby is gay or not, when it's that young? And so what if the baby you're eating isn't even gay? Bro, I need to whip out the transcript. I can barely understand what's happening here. Bro, and there's no way to whip out a transcript. What about the blind people? So they're saying instead of drilling a hole in your balls, don't go to the doctor. So when you eat a gay baby, don't go to the doctor. Great. So now the baby's just gonna be dead. We can't even revive it. I feel realistically, if you accidentally ate a gay baby, if you in GTA accidentally ate it whole, maybe go to some sort of doctor so that perhaps they could I don't know, do some quick surgery to get it out. But maybe this only applies if the baby
911 immediately and vomit in a fridge.
Body parts on the one to arrest yourself.
Explosion. And if you accidentally sell body parts online, call 911 immediately and vomit in a fridge during a nuclear explosion. And this happened because the balls could go into a coma and die over and over again.
Bro, how are you meant to accidentally sell body parts on the internet? Isn't that illegal? That is the dark web. That is the black market. And why would you call 911 if you accidentally sell body parts online? You're just calling 911 to arrest yourself. Isn't that just a self-report? Or maybe in this situation, it's sort of if it's a self-report,
lose your family. Most people will immediately begin to enclose.
Well, kind of screwed. And because you can't do this in 2025, your balls are apparently going to go into a coma, so you're never going to have kids ever again.
If you touch an elephant's balls at 300 miles per hour, you would completely lose your family. Most people will immediately begin to enclosing a person within a wall. But this wastes time and energy. Instead, go into a coma, and if all else fails, touch active film.
Whoa, you were gonna touch Zach T. Films? Bro, do not listen to this. Do not ever touch anyone without consent. Especially in elephant's balls. So if you touch an elephant's balls at 300 miles per hour, so wait, how does that even work? Are you just gonna be diddling his dingling 300 miles per hour, just dingling his dingling? So if you do that, you're gonna lose your family. And honestly, I don't blame the elephant for doing that. So the elephant is going to brutally massacre your entire family. I mean, maybe if I was an elephant and some random person started diddling me, maybe I wouldn't do that as well. I'd probably just destroy their entire family. But then the strat is not to hide yourself into a a wall? What is this? This is a Minecraft house. This is literally a day one Minecraft house. And so instead you have to play dead and go into a coma. Just play, I guess maybe that works, playing dead. But if that doesn't work, you have to just touch Zach D Films. We are not going to do that. Hopefully this coma method works.